Today on the Button Up Podcast, we have Alex Costa. Great to chat with you today, Alex.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good to be here.
Excellent. And now I heard part of your story, I'm influential. I've caught up on your YouTube channel and everything, and I definitely want to get into your early days on YouTube as a gamer and as a non-English channel. But some of my most interesting things I like to hear about is like, where did you start and what happened before you got on YouTube?
Before YouTube, I tried everything. Basically, my first job was at Domino's Pizza making pizzas and answering the phone. So I did that for about a year. I worked at Subway. I worked at Best Buy. I worked driving trucks and delivering landscaping materials. So I've done it all. And then as I was doing that, I actually went to college for criminal justice. Somehow wanted to be a lawyer. Not sure why today. And during that, I also went to EMT school and became an EMT. And while doing that, I was a pretty big video game player. So I played a lot of video games, which was awesome at the time. I played Call of Duty mostly. I guess I wasn't really a gamer. I was just a Call of Duty player. That was just the only game that I played.
Which Call of Duty was it?
I started with Call of Duty 1. Yeah, so I started all the way in the beginning. But I started making videos with Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare. So that game was really, I think it was kind of like where Call of Duty blew up. Became a really competitive game, and a game that was also really great at exposing your talent on YouTube. And I didn't really know that until I kind of started making videos on YouTube myself. So yeah, I started editing and making videos in the back of an ambulance when I was, when I had some time off, when I was an EMT. So when I wasn't on calls, I was editing videos, making videos, watching videos, thinking of new ideas. And the reason why I was making Call of Duty videos is because I wanted to play competitively. And since I was playing with all my Brazilian friends, we didn't really have a place to play. So I started my own esports website in Portuguese. And to kind of advertise that, I decided why not advertise it on YouTube and teach people how to play Call of Duty competitively. So then they'll kind of be interested in that and go to my website and play there. So YouTube for me was really just a means of advertising my website in the beginning. But for some reason, people just enjoyed the way that I talked and presented my content. And, gaming back in the day, there was no face cam or anything like that. So it was just my voice, which was really interesting to me that people actually liked it and liked what I had to say about a video game online. So the YouTube part of it stayed, and the website part of it kind of went away because I just had more fun doing YouTube, and I can continue doing that for a long time.
Had you always thought of yourself as like an on-screen personality?
No, not really. Yeah, I never thought I'd be doing that. It was more of like I said, a means to advertise a business that I had started. I was really passionate about the game itself, so it was more about that than anything else. And then, earlier, like when I was young in Brazil, I did some modeling, but I was 9 or 10, so it wasn't. I was on TV for a few commercials and stuff like that, but it wasn't really anything related to YouTube.
When you had the website and then your YouTube channel, which initially was to market the website, were you like making money, or were you thinking this could be something I can make a living off of, or was it more of a side hustle, passion project?
For me, it really goes hand in hand. Anything that I'm passionate about, I want to make sure that I explore in a way that I could possibly benefit financially from it, because there's always opportunity there if you're passionate about it. So I was really passionate about it, but I definitely saw an opportunity to start something new in Brazil that hadn't been done before at the time. So this website was doing actually really well. So I would basically charge people to be part of a weekend tournaments, and then I would give out a cash prize to the winners. And yeah, we had thousands of participants, and all the best teams in Brazil were playing at the time. I would actually cast the game myself and live stream the whole tournament and everything. So it was a lot of work, but it was really fun. And I definitely saw some really good income coming from it, but it just being on YouTube was just, I really loved doing that. So that's what stayed, and that was what was special for me in the end.
Okay, so for a while you you kind of transitioned to YouTube, but still focused on gaming.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in the meantime, I guess, to bring you to where you are today? I guess a lot probably
Yeah.
happened, but maybe you could walk us through it.
Sure. I lived in Brazil when all of this started, and then I moved to the US. I already had my channel, and all my content was gaming, all my content was in Portuguese, and it was weird for me being in the US and doing all this content for all my audience in Brazil. It was fun, but at the same time, I couldn't really share it with my friends here. I couldn't really share it with anyone I met here because, first of all, they wouldn't understand any of it. And then I kind of, started moving away from Call of Duty and started doing other games, and just fell out of love with the whole gaming industry. At this time, I actually worked for a multi-channel network in MCN called Machinima here in LA, and that's why I moved to LA to host a few gaming shows for them in Portuguese. So I was a host in front of a camera now, talking about video games all day, playing video games all night, so I could record it for my channel. And it was just too much. It was never really like that much of a passion for me to continue doing it day and night. So it took a toll, and I started doing more lifestyle, more vlogs. My Brazilian audience wanted to know what it was like to live in the US and to have American friends and to speak English in my household. So it was kind of interesting to them. So I started doing vlogging, and they really enjoyed that. But as you guys know, or you probably know, that the CPM, or the income that you make on YouTube on ads, coming from Brazil or other similar countries, is really non-existent. So I wasn't really making any money doing these videos, and it was just a lot of work for me to not have any type of return. So I was like, okay, this is kind of, I'm tired. If I'm going to invest all my time into this, it needs to be some type of return where it's worth it for me. So I started. I one day I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna change all of this content to English, and I kind of owe this to my ex-girlfriend at the time too. She's like, you should just do it. She kind of hyped me up for it, and I went for it. One day I'm just like, hey guys, listen, I want to expand my audience. If I keep doing videos in Portuguese, I'm gonna have the audience that I have now, which is 98% Brazil, 2% Portugal, which is very limited. So I want to make sure that I have a global audience, and I also want to make sure that I get some type of return for my time that I'm investing into this channel, which is a lot of time. At the time, so you guys have an idea, I was making 4 videos a day, gaming videos a day. So it was a lot of work, and that's how gaming works. You have to kind of just be you have to post frequently, at least once a day. So it was taxing for sure on me. And I switched one day. I just switched to English, started doing vlogging in English. Some people stayed, some people hated me. So, I lost a lot of subscribers. Like, I feel like every time I posted a video, I lost about 300 subscribers. So it was really, I didn't feel good about my channel for about 6 months. I wanted to quit many, many times. Negative comments, lots of dislikes, but I stuck with it because I knew that I was passionate about it. And at some point I started seeing finally some positivity again on my channel, and it started growing again slowly.
At that point, were you at like tens of thousands of subscribers? What was about the size?
So I had 130,000 subs at the time when I switched. I think I went down all the way down to like 120 something thousand, like maybe 123. So I lost, almost 10,000 subs from what I remember. And yeah, man, it was hard. You guys know how it is. Like, when you're taking, and I was doing like Casey Neistat inspired vlogs. So I was shooting all day, and I was editing them for about 6 hours before I posted them. And then I would post them, and I was really proud of my work. And then I would lose 300 subscribers and get all this, negative comments and feedback. And I was just so upset, with everything that was going on. But I knew that in the end it would work out, where I really hoped that it would. So I stuck with it. Yeah, and I mean, I had between 120 and 130,000 subs for almost 2 years.
Well, that was actually part of my other question, though, is at the time, too, because this was even before Casey Neistat daily vlogs. So what were some of the channels at the time that you were like, they're doing great work and I want to do something similar?
Yeah, so for me, Casey Neistat was a huge inspiration for me at the time. Just seeing what he was doing on Snapchat first, So I started kind of, understanding how to work a camera and how to make everything visually interesting to the audience. And I don't like doing videos in front of the camera, just sitting in front of a blank wall kind of thing and just talking to the camera. I think there's a place for those when you're talking about something personal, when the story behind it is so interesting that, it's going to captivate your audience. I like visually exciting things. So for me, seeing Casey do that was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I want to do something like this. Of course, everyone wants to be Casey Neistat, and it's really hard because he's just so awesome at it, and he has so many years behind him of experience. But I tried to put my own spin on it, and it came out great. I really liked vlogging back in the day. But the shift actually happened when I was vlogging, and people started asking me about my hair and what I was wearing. And that was interesting to me. I'm like, I never thought people would really care, or like men would care as much. Especially, gamers. They, gamers are kind of known for not really caring about that stuff. But my audience was at the age where they wanted to go out and maybe, meet their first girlfriend and stuff. And they looked at me and they're like, you're a gamer and you're into fitness and you dress well and your hair is cool. That's kind of cool. I kind of want to do that. How do you do that? So I started talking about that on my channel, and that's when it really, when I saw that change, and I started getting new subscribers.
That's interesting. That's a really cool transition. And you were still at the network at this time, like working full time there?
Yeah, so I worked there for about 2 years, and then I got hired at Major League Gaming to run their esports programs in Brazil. So I was the director of programming for MLG Brazil. So we organized a bunch of tournaments. Because of my esports and gaming background, I was able to help them get them off the ground. And then while I was there, I actually got hired by this. Do you guys know Twitch?
Of course.
Yeah, so it's a gaming streaming platform, mostly gaming anyway. And I got hired by Azubu, which was their competitor, coming from Asia. So got hired at Azubu as a director of Latin America to start, increasing their content coming from Brazil. And literally the day, like the week I got hired, Google actually reached out to me, and they're like, hey, we like your background. We like what you've been doing. We need somebody who understands YouTube, understands gaming and its audience. Would you be interested in applying for a job? And I was like, it's Google. Yes, I would love to. But again, it was more like, do you want to try this? Do you want to apply? So it wasn't really them offering me a job. It was just kind of like letting them know that there's a position open. So I was pretty scared because I told them I never finished college, so I dropped out of criminal justice to come to LA to work for that MCN. So I was like, just so you know, I've never finished college. I'm not sure what Google's policy is, and they're like, as long as you have experience and you can do your job, that's all that matters. So yeah, I went through 6 or 7 interviews, very intense interviews, definitely the most intense I've ever had. And when you go through that type of interview, like, you don't think you got the job. You're like, there's no chance that I'm gonna get this job. Like, there's no way. But they kept coming back and saying, okay, you got one more interview. Okay, one more. Come into the office now. Meet this guy and that guy. Yeah, and I got offered a job to work here in Beverly Hills and start their YouTube gaming team and app. So I was employee number 3 for YouTube gaming, which was really cool.
Wow, that's awesome. What year was that when you started working for Google?
2015.
2015, okay. And so at that point, it's obviously a big company. Everybody has an idea in their head of what it's like to work at Google and their office space and everything. Was it everything that people kind of dream of?
Yeah, definitely. It was like a dream, I remember I was in Poland for an esports tournament through Azubu when I got offered the job. So I'm in Poland, it's freezing, I'm outside. Like, I was in a work dinner, and then I had to step outside because I got this call, and I'm like, oh man, I think this is the call. Stepped outside, it was freezing. It was March, and yeah, she's like, just so you know, you got the job. I just emailed you all your benefits and package and your offer. Let me know if you're into it. So I'm like super happy, like almost crying outside. And I have to go back to this like work dinner that night and kind of try to talk about something that instantly I didn't care about anymore. Which is very interesting to me. But yeah, I mean, as soon as I started, the team was very supportive of everything. Like they came out to San Francisco with me for um, my orientation because you go to their headquarters for 2 days. You learn everything about Google, all of everything that they're working on that they can talk about anyway, um, and everything about YouTube. And it was amazing. It was awesome. Right away, I started traveling. I started getting a really like robust network of people, like interesting people, really relevant people in the industry. So it was really cool.
And you had your channel going the whole time, and I assume like that's that was probably part of the appeal from their standpoint, so
It
you kind of
was,
understood that side, right?
yeah, and it was honestly for me, I was so scared because like, oh man, okay, I got the job now, I got the offer, and the first thing I asked her when I got the offer is, do I have to give up my channel? Because if I do, then I'm gonna have to decline. Um, and that was like the hardest question I've ever had to ask. Um, because I love my channel, but also I really wanted this job. But I wasn't willing to give it up because I felt something special about it. This community that I built, I can't just give it up. I worked so hard and went through so many negative comments while I was going through this transition that I wasn't willing to give it up. And they said, that's fine. You can still keep it. Um, I think we need that kind of insight anyway from somebody who's using the platform every day. Um, and the way I see it is, it's like teaching someone how to drive. You can have a whiteboard and you can tell them all about driving and how to do it for, as long as you want. But once that person sits in the car, it's different. So you can talk about YouTube, but once you actually have a channel and you understand what the feedback is like and what uploading a video and editing a video and shooting a video, what it takes, that it's completely different. So I brought something that they didn't have to the table, which was really cool. And they really liked my feedback and they listened to all of it, which was awesome. To be able to have, such a big company listening to what you have to say was amazing.
So now you are already transitioning away from gaming a little bit on your channel. Is it helping you creatively to say, like all day you're working with YouTubers in the gaming space, but then at night you're doing your style and hairstyle? I mean, did that really help your process in your own channel too?
It was there was definitely a disconnect. It was interesting because as soon as I started working at Google, I kind of stopped gaming altogether. So I haven't gamed in like 3 years, like I actually gamed. But I understood everything about YouTube, and I understood the frustrations that these creators are going through, and I understood what it took to create a video. And I understood the gaming world really well, even though I didn't game anymore. I was part of it for so long. So for me, it was great to connect with these gamers and help them out, help them grow, and then also see. I think for me, the most important thing was seeing how well these guys were doing, not even financially. And yes, they were doing well financially, but mostly like how happy they were and the network they built and the amazing opportunities they were getting outside of just financial opportunities, just traveling and getting to meet, actors and getting acting opportunities and, uh, working with amazing large brands. And for me, I was like, wow, so this is what it's like, to be, to have made it on YouTube. I'm like, that's what I want. I want to keep doing this until I get to their level.
So then while you're at Google, what's the kind of trajectory or tipping point where you're saying, all right, these guys are making it, maybe I won't be at Google for 10 years?
I mean, to be honest with you, I already knew that when I joined. I had never wanted to work there for a very long time. I didn't know what that time was going to be like. I didn't know if it was 1 year or 10 years, but I knew that as soon as I could, I would invest all my time on my channel. So I did my best at work. I never really let it affect me. Um, So I wasn't really like, oh, I don't really want to give it my, my full energy because I know that my channel is going to do well. I wasn't like that at all. I was really good at separating both. So I kept a really thick line between them because I knew that I had to be good at my job and I had to, that was completely separate from my channel. So I never collaborated with any of the YouTubers that I managed. I never took advantage of any of that because it would be unprofessional with me. So and people question me. They're like, why don't you just, talk to these people? You have all this network of very large, like, 17, 18 million subscriber YouTubers. Why don't you talk to them and just blow up? I'm like, well, because that would be unprofessional. That's not how I work. I wanna do it on my own, and that's what I did.
I totally agree. I work full time now, but I find that having that mental track then helps push me into doing the best there so that I can separate my time to then go dedicate time to the YouTube channel as well. So I can totally align with that.
Yeah.
When you were making that transition or thinking about that transition, I guess it's always something that you knew, that you were going to sort of build your own business versus working for somebody else. Did you have a specific goal in mind? Like, okay, if I can get my, side hustle or my channel to this size, I'll leave, or was it more of an organic thing?
Yeah, I think it was kind of twofold for me. Obviously, you have to be smart about it. Like, if you're not making money on your YouTube channel, I'd probably not leave Google to go make no money. I live in LA. Rent is very expensive, and I needed to make sure that I was doing okay financially, enough to get by. And I was really scared because you guys know how hard it is to actually live off of YouTube. Like it's really difficult, and it's also not a sure thing, right? You could do well this month and then you could make no money next month. So for me, it was really difficult to get to that point, but I knew I was going to get there at some point. And then also, it was a passion thing for me, right? So it was like, do I really want to do this? And once I'm 100% sure that I've found exactly what I wanted to do on YouTube, and I knew that I was happy doing it, then it was time for me to leave. So once I built a community that was, sizable and it made me happy enough that I was like, okay, I actually built something here. Let's focus 100%. Then I knew it was time for me to leave. And once I had financial comfort from my YouTube channel, then I knew it was also time to leave. So I don't think I left too soon. I don't think I left too late. I honestly, like, down to the day, it was perfect. It was perfect. Like, the day I left, I got a few deals through my manager, and I probably would have had to say no to a couple of them if I was still at Google, because they were just very time consuming, and some of them were even travel opportunities. So for me, I was like, wow, this was perfect, because there's no chance I would have been able to do all of this if I was still at Google. So I was really, really happy with that decision and the timing of it.
That's awesome, man. It's good to hear. Yeah, I was actually going to ask you what changed since you left, with how you run your channel. So I guess you're able to say yes to more opportunities, travel partnerships. Has anything else changed?
Yeah, I just take way more time on my videos now. I'm like, I had to rush a bunch of videos when I was still working at Google because I was shooting them at 1 a.m. and I needed sleep and I was tired. And I would mess up and then I was too tired to reshoot, kind of thing. It was just like, it was too much. It was very stressful. So now, if I don't feel like shooting a video today, I don't have to. I'm not in the mood. So why am I going to force something and act as if I'm like excited about a video if I'm not today? So I'll shoot tomorrow. So the quality of my videos have definitely increased. I've noticed a difference myself, and I've noticed even in the comments, or my friends have told me that, oh, your videos got so much better in the past couple months. And it's because I take my time. Instead of taking an hour to write a script, I can take a half hour to write some of it, and then I'm like, I'm not that happy with it right now. Let's just let it sit for a second, marinate, and then I'll come back and finish it with a fresh mind, and it'll be way better. And it is. So that's the biggest difference that I've seen so far. And then obviously the travel opportunities. Like, I'm going to Europe again in a few weeks, going to Denmark in May, you know, Coachella. There's also so many opportunities when it comes to festival lookbooks and fashion. Um, and I'm also working on things outside of YouTube that I'm really excited about.
Can you share any of that?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about it. Very preliminary at this point. I'm opening two companies this year. I have two ideas that I want to get out there. One I can't really talk about too much, but the other one is a hair company. So I'm going to start a. Basically, I'm doing a limited edition hair product with a known brand right now. I'm receiving the first samples in the next few weeks. Very excited about that. Timeline is unknown. These things take, to my surprise, like months to get the first sample. So I was like, I'm gonna get a hair product. I'm gonna make this. It's gonna be awesome. And then I sent everything that I needed to the manufacturer, and they're like, all right, we'll send you the first sample in 2 months. I'm like, 2 months? I want it now. You know, like I want to smell it. I want to see the texture. I'm like so excited. But now I just have to kind of sit here and wait. So probably in the fall is when we launch this limited edition product. And then after that, I'm actually doing my own hair company with the feedback that I will be gathering from this first limited edition batch. So I'm going to take it, make it better, make it my own, and start my own company with maybe one hair product to start, or maybe a couple, or 3 or 4. It depends on where I'm at the time. But very excited for that because there's just, I don't know, it's something that I'm really passionate about. I've always wanted to have my own thing, and like, you know, I thought about it. I'm like, is it merch? Is it skincare? What is it? And hair is something that I'm passionate about. Right now, it's what does the best on my channel. It's what people keep coming back for. It's kind of what I'm known for. So it was kind of a no-brainer to start here and then see where it goes.
I'd also strongly recommend anybody that hasn't watched you did 2 videos on Google that I've watched, which is one when you first got the job, how to get your job at Google, and the second one when you left, where you did talk through some of your thought process about that. So I thought those were really strong as well, and the hair product sounds very cool. And being in the industry, you know, some big companies that bring out shirts or sweaters or something, their timeline is like 9 to 12 months, and so it sounds like you're even being speedier than some of the places. But did you also walk away with some really tangible stuff from that standpoint from Influential? Because that seems like so many guys from, especially in the influential space, they have their audience, and then they, you know, Aaron Marino does T. Shanley, and then you didn't I don't know if you met Sven from Gentleman's Gazette. He wasn't there this year, but you know, he's got this Fort Belvedere. But you know, taking the knowledge and the network that you develop from your YouTube channel, and then transitioning that into serving your audience with exactly what they want, sounds like a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's the next step for me. You know, I love YouTube. I know YouTube very well. I love Instagram. I think it's great. Social media is amazing. But at the end of the day, you're at their mercy. So the other day, I was really happy because I just started passing. I just passed 40,000 likes on my pictures. So I'm like, all right, sweet. You know, 40,000. So now that's kind of like my goal for every picture. And I was getting like 37, 38, 40, 45. And then 2 days later, I started getting 29, 30, 31, and nothing changed. You know, my content was still the same. So obviously there's an algorithm that changed, you know, something changed in the algorithm. And it's kind of frustrating a little bit because you depend on them. And the same on YouTube, same could happen. You know, right now my channel is doing well. I'm growing really fast, but who knows what's going to happen in a month or two or in a year. So I don't want to be super dependent on these platforms. I want to use them to reach as many people as possible and spread a message that I'm really passionate about. And then if I can, you know, if I can sell amazing products while I'm doing it, then great. But I want these products to kind of be, you know, to kind of stand on their own as well. So I want to do marketing outside of just my YouTube channel and social media. I want them to be their own thing. So I'm not even going to call them like Alex Costa or anything like that. It's just going to be a hair product that I designed. But I don't want them to be super dependent on my brand.
That's very cool. And that's a very exciting space too. I know, like you said, some of your best videos are hair related. How do you think that being in LA or your physical location has helped as you've grown?
It's helped. To be honest, it hasn't helped that much. If I didn't care so much about, you know, just quality of life and going out and being able to have everything here in LA, I would probably just move to like Florida or something, like somewhere just cheaper, to be honest. But I really, I built my life here, so it doesn't really make sense for me to move now. But my mom lives in Florida, my dad lives in Brazil, and the rest of my family lives in Brazil. So I'm really far from everyone. And it is very pricey to live here. But I've made friends, and I love the LA lifestyle. So it would be really hard for me to move. But business-wise, I think it would probably make sense to live somewhere else, to be honest with you. I can make my videos from anywhere. I can shoot my pictures anywhere I want. And it's cool that I'm in LA, and I think some shots look better, or people aspire to live in LA someday. And I do get to meet other influencers here, but I would think overall it's probably better to live somewhere cheaper. It's a smarter business move, especially if you're just starting now.
I'd imagine that Brazilian brands would probably try and get you down there pretty frequently based on your, coming from there and your size now.
So I have not worked with a Brazilian brand ever since I started doing English videos. I'm not sure if people even know that I'm Brazilian anymore. It was a really hard break for me. Like when I started making English videos, it was English like 100%. On Instagram, I started doing first caption in English, and then space, and like the same thing in Portuguese. And then after like a few months, I'm like, screw this, I'm just gonna go full English, because honestly, if a lot of people would see that and be like, well, I don't know what language this is, so I don't know if I can relate to this guy, so I don't know if I'm gonna follow him. And English being such a global language, I was like, all right, well, let's just do English, and if my Brazilian audience wants to translate it or whatever, they can, but I want to make this work. So it was kind of like heartbreaking for me to do that. I kind of felt like I was letting them down, but at the same time, it needed to be done for my own career sake. So yeah, I haven't really worked with any brands because of that, but I do want to kind of start reaching out to Brazilian brands and kind of reconnect with them. At some point, I just need to make sure that I'm at a size where my business can afford that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Do you have any tips for anybody who either is just getting into the, I'd say, content creation or influencer game, or anybody who's in there but maybe not able to make a full-time living yet? Any tips specifically, especially for YouTube and Instagram?
Yeah, I think there's so much that goes into it. I think, first of all, are you doing something that you're passionate about? If yes, then keep going. Are there too many people doing it? If so, then what sets you apart from everybody else? Why am I going to subscribe or follow you instead of this other person? Are you consistent? Are you going to continue to make videos even though you're not going to get any views? Because that's how it starts. You don't start making views in the beginning. We all started from zero subscribers, 0 views. So if that's going to upset you and discourage you from keep going, then don't do it. It's not for you. Do you have thick skin for negative comments and negative feedback? Are you one of those people that will start replying to negative comments and bringing negativity to your own channel? If so, then it's probably not for you. Being a public person can be difficult sometimes, because you just have to take it, and it kind of has to roll off your shoulder, and that's it. And then also, what's your end goal with this? Is it to create a network, an audience? Is it to make money? Is it to be famous? Is it to become an actor? So I think those are all things that you really have to think about before you start investing so much time. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm just going to make videos. I'm just going to do videos and see how it works. And that was cool back in the day when YouTube had just started. I think that's how a lot of people became big. I'm just going to start making videos. And then all of a sudden you blow up because there weren't that many people doing it. But nowadays, there's so many channels out there. So you really have to be different or special to captivate a new audience.
Absolutely. I think it's a great way to think about it. And that's one of the real themes that you walk away with after a conference like Menfluential, where there's a lot of guys out there. You just have to have the right idea and find that niche to really hone in on. So
yeah, and I think that came out kind of negative maybe, but it's not what I mean. Like, it's an amazing job, and you can definitely do it. There's definitely room for more people. I think it's just go in it for the right reasons and keep doing it. If you're really passionate about, be consistent. Post, if you're going to post once a week, post once a week. If you're going to post twice a week, do it. Don't fail your audience. And then also, meet people, reach out to people that are maybe on the same level, the same size, and start collaborating with them. And think about how to improve your content. Look at the best, who's making your content the best. Look at that person and then try to make it better. I think that's the way to do it.
I agree. I really look forward to you getting together with Casey Neistat then.
Yeah, I mean, I've met him. He was really cool, but it was like I loved him at the time because vlogging, he like revolutionized vlogging, especially daily vlogging. But now that I don't do vlogs, and I get so many messages being like, hey, why don't you start vlogging again? I loved your vlogs. I went back on your channel and I saw that you used to vlog. Do it again. It takes so much time to shoot a vlog and edit a vlog, and the return is just not there, for me anyway, because people want to see how-to videos and tutorials and grooming tips and stuff like that. And those are the videos that have longevity. Like, people keep coming back for that. Some of the videos that I did last year are still getting views today. And if I do a vlog about my trip to London, only my hardcore audience wants to see that. So it kind of like, again, there's no return on all of that work, or there's very little return. So it's more of a business thing for me when it comes to that decision of not shooting any more vlogs. So I'd love to shoot something with Casey. I mean, he's got an interesting sense of fashion where he's like, he wears really expensive things, but then he like jumps in the river with it to grab his drone. So he doesn't really care. So I'd love to talk to him about that. That would be really cool. And I think he does it on purpose, just to like kind of piss people off. He's like, I'm going to jump in this water with my, Louis Vuitton shoes. And then people are going to be really mad and engage with my video, and that video will get more views. I swear that's what he does.
Yeah, it's definitely intentional.
Yeah.
The whole like fell off my boosted board, broke my Rolex type thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Alex. Well, yeah, man, we appreciate you being on the show. We'll look forward to your hair product releases and all of your future videos. And we'll link to all your stuff down in the show notes. But thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This was really cool. Anytime you guys want to talk again, let me know.
Thank you for listening to the Buttoned Up Podcast, a collaboration between John Shanahan of The Cavalier and Brock McGough of Modest Man, and we will see you next week.